Hello everybody and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we will be making this cardboard mask. I just invented this new way of making this cat mask, so I'm going to share it with you guys. This is a pretty cool cat that I made completely out of cardboard and some thread. So here's what you'll need to make it. Okay, as for supplies, you need some cardboard. I'm using this cardboard box. The cardboard about this thick works best, but thinner, thicker cardboard could work. And you could even make this out of paper, but I'm using cardboard. You need something to write with. I usually have two colors, just in case I want to in case I mess up a line and want to correct it, then I know which one to cut. So, something to write with. You need some scissors. I'm using these because they are really cool. And an X-Acto knife if you have one, otherwise scissors will be just fine. A hot glue gun, that is the most important thing you have next to the cardboard, and something to tie it with. I'm using elastic, but you can use string, thread, yarn, something to hold it together, but those are all the supplies you need. Okay, once you have your cardboard, I usually just cut along the seam of the box until I have a flat piece. Take a section about this big, and this is where you're going to start your mask. So, take one of your writing utensils and draw kind of a curved shape. So, you want it to be approximately like that wide. I'll get measurements in a second. So start like this, create kind of a oval shape. How neatly you do this doesn't really matter. There we go. Oval shape to start with. Now, once you've got that oval shape, it might help to draw a line in the middle just to see where the center is. But you're going to want to draw some curved lines up to create a spot for your nose. Now, this doesn't have to be exact. But like I said, I will have a pattern up on my Etsy for a couple $. That will be downloadable in a few days. But for right now, here's the shape. And once you have that drawn, you're going to want to draw some eye holes. Now, just some ovals. As you can see, I'm kind of just sketching the lines here. But you want the eyes to be kind of right in line with this, the top of the nose. So, get these. There we go. And this is where a second marker does come in handy, because you can trace over the lines you definitely want in that other color. You can see it better. So, and draw out how I want it. There we go. Next, you are going to cut it out. Just cut along the lines. Okay, I will show the measurements for this in a second too, just so that it's an easier time making it for you guys. Okay, there is the shape. Now you're going to want to bend it just so it curves to your face. The best thing about cardboard is that it bends. It's a really fun material to work with. But there's your mask. So, after you get it cut out, the easiest way to do this is to use an X-Acto knife and just carve out the eyes. Now these don't have to be perfect circles, but there. And you just pop out the eye, and there it is. Okay, this base is approximately 7 inches wide and about 6 inches tall. And that's about the right size you want for one of these masks. Next, you're going to take some cardboard, preferably 2 pieces about the same size, and you're going to draw, so you're going to compare about next to the mask. And where the top of this is where the top of your line should start. So you're going to draw straight out from that line about this far. That's about 4 inches long. And then you're going to curve down to the edge here. Nice curved line. So this is about 1, 2, 3. This is about 3 inches high and 4 inches across. I don't know the conversion for centimeters at this moment, but I will add the measurements to the description or pattern. Or I'll add it somewhere. But so this snout is going to go onto this mask. Now it's a little long for a cat snout, but that's because you need to angle it downwards. So what I do is I usually kind of draw a diagonal line like this, coming from the corner to about where the curve ends. It doesn't have to be exact. You can kind of like line it up like this just to see how you like it. But remember, this part gets flattened. So once you have that line cut that right out, and then trace that shape onto another piece of cardboard and cut it out. Once you have those two pieces, you're going to flip them so one is facing each direction. So these two pieces are going to be glued together right here to create a snout. So the first thing is to just bend them. Just take your fingers and just bend this cardboard in every direction so that it curves. So you get something like this. And then do the other one in the opposite direction. Okay. Now that those are bent, take your glue, oops, move my thread. Take your glue and glue the tip of one of them. There we go. Then you take the other tip, line it up so it's kind of at a V shape on top, stick it down, and wait for it to dry. Once it's dry, it should look something like this, and should be able to bend like so. So this is going to go on the snout right here. Now that doesn't look very even to me because these are obviously two different ends of cardboard, so I'm going to trim off a little bit of the end. You're going to want it to line up, so when you stand up, it creates a solid snout shape that's sticking straight out. Now this one looks a little long to be a cat snout for me, so I'm going to trim just a tiny bit off the edges here. Sorry, there we go. Okay, so now you take it and kind of bend it into your hands and line it up right over the snout. And it looks like this needs to be cut a little bit. So then you line it up, and if it looks good from straight on, you glue it down. So I'm going to take my glue and start applying it to the edges of the cardboard. Just these two ends. Okay, then flip it over and hold it right, sorry I got glue in my hand, right where you want it. And hold it in that position. Okay, once it's glued on, it should look something like this. So the next step is right about here and here on the snout. You're going to draw some lines. So a line like, it's about 1 inch long, right where this snout kind of curves. So, you're going to cut right on those lines and fold the top part over the bottom part like that. This creates more of a cat snout shape. So fold that over and glue it, and you'll have a cat snout. Once it's glued, it should look like that. And you're going to take a rectangular piece of cardboard that's approximately the size of the snout, and you're going to bend it. Okay. So then, you glue that right on top of the snout. Next, you're going to want to sketch out a nose. It's kind of like a V shape, but cut it out. I didn't do this very good, but That's okay. So, once it's cut out, you glue it to the mask like that. Okay, the next step is to draw some cheek fluff. So you're going to trace the inside of one of the eyes and the outside of the mask, like that. Then you draw approximately where the snout is and start sketching some fur. So I'm going to switch markers and just kind of draw a couple spikes like that. I like this kind of shape for cats, but I like this kind of. Okay, once they're cut out, line them up with the face, like so, and glue them down. Let's get some glue on the back of this, and then press it down, and some glue, just put on the mask here, and press this one down. Okay. And there's our mask so far. Next, cut out 2 triangles of the same size and put them above the eyes. I tend to put them kind of like this. Oops. Like that kind of thing. So glue those in place. Now this part can get a bit tricky, but you're going to want to cut out a triangle like this, a thin one to put right between the eyes, and then 2 of the exact same kind of right angled triangle to put here, and then 2 smaller ones to put there. So once you cut out these 2 triangles, and this triangle, glue them in place like so. Okay, we got our cat nice and ready. Next step is to do the ears. For this step, we're going to trace the very top of the head and the tops of the eyes. I just do that for positioning, but that way you don't lose where the mask is. So you're going to draw 2 triangles, or just one, and then you can flip it. I like drawing 2 just to gauge what ear I want to actually go with. There's 1. And there's 2. So once that looks good to you, take the mask away and draw a little bit underneath where the curve is. That way you can glue the ears on to the back of the mask. So it's marking that up, so nowhere to glue. But you're going to draw a couple triangles on the inside, just so we know where to put the inner ears. And then you cut this entire shape out. Once those are cut out, trace them again, but this time just cut out the outer edge portion. Doesn't matter if you leave the extra part or not. I usually leave it just so I can glue it and give it kind of 3D effect. So, cut out the V-shaped edges of the ears. Now, you take these outer edges, line them up, and glue them to the ears. Next, you're going to take the ears and line them up to the back of the head, wherever you want them, and then glue them in place. Now that they are glued, you have finished the base of your mask. The last step is to attach the thread or elastic. So how I do it is I usually poke holes on either side, tie a knot in my elastic, and then run it through and tie it. Alternatively, you could just glue the elastic or thread in place, because some people don't want the knot on the front of the mask, but I'm just going to tie this one a couple more times, cut off the end. There we go. So now I'm going to poke a couple holes into the mask. So poke one here Doesn't need to be anything special, just a hole. You can poke it with a pen, scissors, X-Acto knife, whatever, as long as you're being careful. So now that those holes are made, I'm going to run this elastic through the hole. I can pull it through. Grab a needle maybe to get it, but I think I got it. It's so difficult to pull through, just because I'm doing it wrong. Usually you can poke through with a pen, but there. So you run that all the way through until it gets to the knot. Then you wrap this around your head and hold it to see how comfortable it fits. Once you find the comfortable fit, keep your fingers on that spot, tie a knot there, well, run it through the hole, tie a knot there, and you're done. And here it is, all finished with the elastic strap attached. Thank you so much for watching this video, and if you liked this tutorial or found it helpful, feel free to subscribe and like this video. Your support means the world to me, and I will have plenty more tutorials coming very, very soon. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.